We're going to define primary colors, and primary colors are the building blocks of all the other colors. And primary colors cannot be made by mixing any other colors. So what can you make with the primary colors? You can make the secondary colors. And secondary colors are orange, green, and violet. Each secondary color is made from two primary colors closest to it on the color wheel. For example, if you wanted to make orange, you'd look at this blank color wheel. We're going to fill that in a minute. So for example, if you wanted to make orange, you would add the two closest primary colors, which next to it on the color wheel would be red and yellow, come together to make orange. So going right to its closest neighbors on the color wheel, you'd mix these two, yellow and red, to make orange. So first we're going to take our blank color wheel and we're going to fill it in by first doing the primary colors, because those are our building blocks. And once we have those filled in, we're going to mix one at a time each of the secondary colors. But before we can get started, let's go over the materials that we're going to be using today. At that point, we're going to be taking our palette. That's one of the first steps, is getting your paint ready to use. So again, starting with the primary colors, we're going to just use a little bit on our palette, and we're going to make kind of a triangle with the colors going into the corners here. So we're going to do red in one corner, and as you can see, I'm not using a lot. A little goes a long ways. And so I'm going to be taking our worksheet right here and putting my supplies where I need them. I'm going to be taking red first and just applying the paint to my brush and coming over to my area here and using craftsmanship, paying attention to the edge of the line, make sure I'm not going over that, and you'll just fill that in. So next I will do the yellow, and again just going straight to the source. You're not mixing any colors. The primary colors are ready to use right out of the tube. And my last primary color, I'm going to go to my blue, and just like the other two colors, go to the corresponding color on the wheel and fill it in. And we have the primary colors on our color wheel, and we are ready to start mixing to get to our secondary colors. Alright, so for our secondary colors, remember those are orange, green, and violet. We're going to start at the top of the list and we're going to make orange as our first secondary color. So looking at the color wheel, we've got orange is here located between yellow and red, and so that means we're going to go to orange's neighbors on the color wheel and we're going to mix those two together to make orange. And so going back to our palette, and our palette is purposefully set up kind of like the color wheel. We've got our triangle here, so we're going to take this space in between the yellow and the red, and that is where we're going to mix our orange. So we take our yellow. We need a little bit more yellow than we need red because red is a stronger color, so you don't need a lot. So just take a little bit with the edge of your brush, not a whole lot, and just mix that together. And you can tell that's just a little too yellow. It could use a little more red. And it's always easier to add more than it is to take away, so you can gradually keep adding the red if you need. Alright, and that's looking pretty good. I use just a touch more red, just a little bit. There, that's looking like a good orange. Make sure you mix it up well. And then we take our color wheel and proceed to fill in that spot that corresponds with the color. And so to finish our color wheel, we're going to do the same thing by going to green next and taking the neighbors of green, so yellow and blue on the color wheel, and we add those together to make green. And then once we're done with that, we'll do the same with violet and adding red and blue together to make that color. And there we have a completed color wheel, and that is containing our 3 primary colors, which again were red, yellow, blue, and our secondary colors, which were orange, green, and violet. So taking the brush, the dirty brush to clean, we take some soap and we take the brush and we swirl it around in our palm to clean out all that paint. Then you take it to the sink to rinse. So by taking care of our materials, they'll last much longer, and we can spend our art budget on fun materials instead of on replacing brushes if they get ruined.